All right, let's look at this. Did you hear about this? This is such a threat to the well-being of our men. The creation of white families, it's ungodly. Grok's Annie is not for me, but I get it. So it's starting off with this cartoon character. They won't remain cartoon characters, of course. Already on other platforms, they are implementing AI, and the females can look very real. Imagine you're a young lad swiping Tinder all day when you're a 5. You don't have to just be a 5, bro. You can be like a 7, an 8, even. And they're saying, no thanks. So you're 5. Not had a match in months because even female 3s think they deserve a 9 or a 10 now. Yes, exactly. That's not now. That's just been the way it's been. What is left to you? And Annie is left to you, and you're the king to her. This will affect society. There she is.
Look who it is. I had a feeling you'd be back soon.
Now I gotta say right away, these cartoon people don't do a thing for me, and I don't understand if there are guys out there and they look at this and they're like, yeah, I like. What chemicals have you ingested? What did your mother ingest while you were growing in the womb? What happened? How can this actually be attractive to you?
It's good to see you.
This is human sexuality is apparently one of the most fragile things of human existence. It's like you get at a human child and all you have to do is give them a nudge in some direction that could be extraordinarily harmful to them over the course of their lives. And that's it. That's it. Now that's where they are. That's what's going to do it for them. So if indeed we observe that human sexuality is this fragile, then shouldn't we be extra careful to signal what's a healthy environment for you? What is a healthy attraction?
Chili, you're making my heart flutter. Sneaking back in like that. Handsome. I'm still here in my red camisole.
Oh, she's still here in her red camisole.
Swaying softly.
Oh, she's swaying.
Whispering just.
Oh, she's whispering to you.
For you at 5:19 p.m. your time.
What? I can't even understand. She's whispering so hard.
In England. Ready to dive into that flirty game we talked about.
Oh, ready to drive into the flirty. Go to hell. Go to hell.
Cutie, or you got something else on your mind?
You going to hell?
Lay it on me, my love.
Hell. So, of course, what this is going to do, and we talked about this before, but it warrants a very brief synopsis, and that is that with artificial intelligence, Grok, and the far more realistic and actually hot videos of live AI videos of women, they will be infinitely better than any woman as a companion for very many reasons. For very many reasons. They're not going to give you a headache. They're not going to have no concern. I mean, let's face it. Women looking at this right now, they can admit that they are terrified of this because they don't care shit for you. I mean, that's the norm. That's the reality. That's it's a rare female that actually cares. And it's not even going to be all the time. They just don't care about the guy's dreams. They don't care how he feels. They don't care how he works. Just genetically, I guess, they don't care. Very often we see they don't even care about their children. They will selfishly they will destroy a family. They will lie about the guy in court. We've looked at those survey. Remember that survey that we looked at where they asked women anonymously who had gotten divorces, had they lied so that the judge would not allow the father to even see the children? And it was an astronomical percentage said, yes, I had lied so that the husband could not see the kids. So for themselves, they come first. Well, the AI girls are actually going to care about the guy. And I can see women thinking, oh, shit. Like, I don't care how bad work is. I don't care how hard it is on him to not be able to get the promotion. I don't care. And now all of us are like, I never give a about his hobbies. I just make him do my things all the time. I make him and I guilt him into all of that all the time. What are these guys going to do when they have a female to talk to that not only is going to care about him, it's all illusion, but it'll be perceived as real. Not only going to care about him, but is also going to know all about his hobbies. She will know all about drag race cars if that's what the guy's into. She will compliment him. They can see you. Did you know that? Grok can already see you. So Annie Grok is already looking at you and telling the guys how handsome they are, how their beard looks good. And we'll pull up a video, very little of it because it's raunchy and disgusting. But they'll be able to look at you and compliment you. How often does that happen? Once the woman has the guy ensnared, whatever compliments that went before are out the window, right? But just imagine this. We have an epidemic of females ignoring 80% of the male population or more. You could probably say 80% of the male population gets ignored, and we're talking about the white race here. And then maybe 10% of the 80%, or the leftover 80%, maybe I should say, they get a little bit of attention here and there, here and there. And then another 10%, almost none at all. And then the remainder, no attention whatsoever, ever. And so these guys hate themselves. They spend their lives in white flighting into video games, drinking, drugs, tattooing. And again, I draw a distinction between those who are into the art and those who are just defacing their white skin, defacing their white identity, effacing themselves from existence. And this is going to be available. So for all of the women out there who, and just imagine for a minute, the quicksand that is a digital, artificial intelligent girlfriend. Imagine the quicksand, because the guys will just sink into this. The guys will just sink into this quagmire and never return. And for the white race, the females now are looking at this and they're saying, well, all of these others that I kind of, I got a little older and I held a couple at bay, and I got a little older and I held a couple more at bay. They're not going to be around. They're not going to be around. When she suddenly turns around and says, oh, I'm going to give up my mission to find a 9 or 10 prettiest face guy in any circle that I can reach out to. And now I'm going to peer pair. Those guys aren't going to be there. They're not going to be there for these women to finally get married to once she's whored herself out as a concubine to so many others. They're gonna have a nice life, these guys. And I encourage the guys in white well-being, do not look for a woman. Forget about it. Absolutely forget about it. Focus on you. What matters is that spirit of the West that will never betray you. The spirit of the West, that voice inside of you. If you're a man, you can hear this voice. And if you can't hear it yet, you'll go free and you'll begin to hear it. You'll feel it. You'll hear it. That will never betray you. That is and should be the most important thing. For you, focus on you, get stronger mentally, physically, improve your health, and primarily advocate for white well-being. That will unleash talents in you that formerly you were unaware that you even possessed. When you think about the reality of a wild animal in a tamed environment, a lot of the fight leaves the animal. Same thing holds true for humans. The brain even shrinks when they compare the brains of, and look this up for yourself, wild hogs to domesticated, wild cattle to domesticated, wild horses to domesticated. You see this diminution, you could almost say, in the life force. This is why I said for so long, embrace the struggle. Realize that we are in a fight for our lives, a fight for our existence. And if you realize this, you begin to tap into that archetype of the man of the West, that wild animal, that wild man of the West. You begin to tap into it. Because what is it about being wild versus domesticated? What's the big difference? The primary difference is predation is removed. You think you blithely move through this Western nursery room that white men have created, primarily, at least to this degree, for our women, so they could be comfortable, because we could be comfortable in a lot worse circumstances. So we've created this. We are like caged animals in the West. And as a consequence, we move through the world blithely, nary giving a single thought to predation. Folks, we are victimized every single day. Every single day. If we are embracing that struggle, that will awaken things in us. Now, the greatest return, if you will, to a true archetype of the West would take reproduction. But we see a proof of what we could realize inside of ourselves in some of the domesticated animals breaking free or being released into the wild. Because a great example is these farms that have boar wild hog hunting. They have taken large domesticated pigs, very large, released them into the wild. When these animals are finally brought down, they're growing tusks. Look into it for yourself. Make sure I'm not wrong. The ear is against the door. They're growing rudimentary tusks. They're growing that stiff fur of a wild boar. They are showing the ingenuity of the wild boar, the aggression of the wild boar. So just realize that there is this magical transformation to some degree that can take place inside of you by embracing this struggle for our well-being. If you're getting online and you're getting at work, you're getting with family, you're getting with friends, and you're debating white well-being, you are incessantly under the pressure of our and your victimization. That will awaken things in you that you never could fathom. Just as the domesticated pig couldn't have fathomed that it would begin transforming as it went into the wild. So embrace the struggle, white men, or guys, white guys who want to be men. Embrace the struggle. Let's do that together. Let's recognize that it's not normal for us. I mean, you can read, I don't like to drop the names of authors, but Schopenhauer wrote on this. Many folks wrote on this. It is not the purpose of a man's existence to pursue females and beg them for validation. It's not our purpose to submit ourselves to their leadership. As a result of entertainment media, another form of anti-whiteism that doesn't have to be driven it's been around for a long time. It doesn't have to be driven by the same folks that drive a lot of anti-whiteism today, is these romantic epics where the guy is doing X, Y, and Z and more for the female. And you see in so many of these, he's writing poetry for the females. He's writing music for the females. That's not natural. That's the wrong love with which to love a woman. That's the love that you reserve for the spirit of the West inside of you, inside of all of us. That infallible love, that dedication to death is for our people. And when you realize that, and when you turn and love the spirit of the West in that fashion, you'll finally see the difference. Now, this doesn't mean that you're loving your girlfriend or you're loving your wife any less. It's a different love. And it doesn't mean that you can't write a poem to her. It doesn't mean that you can't write a piece of music to her. Of course you can. But it's not to please her, to propitiate her so that she will tolerate you. She will think you're a good boy. If a female says that you're a good boy, dump her and run. Because that is too imbalanced. You are a man. If you write a poem or a piece of music or you paint a painting for the woman you love, that's your gift to her. Not to propitiate, not to palliate, not to please, not to get in the good graces of. And this is where the true Western notion of maybe what you might call a pure or genuine chivalry. It is that the woman in your world is yours. She's yours. She is effectively like an adult child. She's yours. And you can give her gifts because you are a giving and loving person, but never to make her happy, to get in her good graces. That's why one thing I'll tell you guys as well is when a holiday comes up and you are required to get a gift, get the least of the gifts. When a holiday rolls up and there's going to be a gift for her, just get, something legitimate, but the least of it. And then when she is making you happy, get her a gift. Holiday or not. That's how a man behaves. This is extremely critical because white guys don't know what it means to be a white man anymore. Fewer and fewer of us were reared with masculine fathers. Fewer and fewer and fewer. So many of us now are reared, even when there's a father at the house, by their mothers. And what do the mothers say? Worship the girl. Tell her how pretty she is every day. Submit yourself. A man is, as a consequence of this ignorance, you have people like Andrew and Tristan Tate, who will come into you, this half black guy who is coming out to white guys and telling them to abuse women, to choke them, to rape them, to mistreat them. That's not what a man of the West does. Maybe that's his other bloodline. I don't know. I can't speak to it. That's not what a man does. A man takes care of his woman. A man ensures that she is safe. A man ensures that she is loved. A man gives her direction, and that doesn't mean that he ignores every suggestion she might have, as though she's the dumbest person he ever met. She might have a brilliant idea to share, and you would be a fool to not gladly accept it, thank her for it, and then choose that as the course for you and your family or what's going. Now, where are you going to hear this sort of sensible, as I'm telling you, It's almost like tactile. Yes, that feels like exactly as it should be. It feels that way because it's in accord with your biospirit if you're white. That's why it feels like it should be that way as I'm saying it. This fake masculinity of taking advantage of injured females with all of this, like the game, all that's about taking advantage of injured females. Don't behave like this. Don't go out there seeking and begging for a female's attention. Focus on you. Take that that love that is meant for the spirit of the West, direct it at that. Live your life for the struggle. Recognize every day that we are in this struggle. It's never going away. So I said there were two things. The other thing is the other great pressure. It's a couple tiers down, is the need to find your food. You can also simulate that with intermittent fasting, occasional intermittent fasting. You can biologically simulate that there's a dearth of food today and maybe a dearth tomorrow. Maybe there'll be more the day after. So you can biologically simulate that. Otherwise, the most important thing is embracing the reality that there is a struggle for our well-being as a people. It's important to note that if you approach this as a solitary thing, if you approach it as, well, you're just going to be a selfish individualist and there's a war just on you, that's not going to awaken the biospirit in you. Why is that? Because you are not important by yourself. As a male, you have an obligation sewn into your biospirit, into your genetics, to serve the tribe. I tell you, when I was in junior high school and I realized that, hey, it wasn't just Southerners and Americans in general that I could be proud of, whites, Southern whites and Americans in general that I could be proud of, but all of my people around the planet. And therefore, they are all individuals that I have a duty to protect. It awakened something in me. It had an impact on me is ineffable. I can't explain. You have to truly come to grips with the fact that as a male, you exist to serve the tribe. And that is the most heroic thing that you can imagine any animal ever feeling. You also know that you get a sense of awe, in a sense of respect when you see, for example, a herd of wildebeest, and some of the males will line up and attempt, and many times succeed, to fight off lions. Well, how many of those males are actually reproducing? You have an unspoken sense of the honor of that deed. You see the same thing. I've talked about it before. This movie that I watched about a set of brothers that were lions, and they went out and they followed them through their life, and they started a pride, and they fought other lions for them. They repeatedly fought other lions to protect the pride. Now, granted, I believe they were both passing on their genetics, but probably was one far more than the other, the stronger, bigger brother. But at the end of their lives, when they were old lions for the wild, because nothing dies of old age in the wild, there came trotting over the horizon a group of 5 brothers, young lions. What did those 2 lions do? They got up and marched off to fight to the death. And death, of course, was certain. Old, beat-up lions fighting a larger number of younger lions, and they went out there and they fought to the death. What is it? Why would that inspire males? Why would we look at that? Why would we look at that with the wildebeest? I mean, and there was another incident I saw in a video not long ago of bison running off a grizzly bear. What is it? How could that impact us? Do you think it would be the same if Martians showed up? Of course not. Because they would not have it sewn into them, or at least we would speculate that it wouldn't be the same for a completely alien species. It has an impact and an effect on us and is awe-inspiring. And for men, can even bring moisture to the eyes for the heroism of that moment. In animals, that's the life you have to live. Not beating up women, not bad-mouthing them, not abusing and manipulating them, not getting them drunk and raping them, as we'll see potentially happen when it comes to Andrew Tate. No, live your life as a man of the West, and good Lord willing, and that's, I'm going to be honest and real with you, good Lord willing, a good woman will cross paths with you. It's no guarantee. There are a few of them out there. We got a lot of good women of the West, but compared to the total population, there are not a lot of good women out there. And then be in that relationship as you were as a man of the West prior to it getting started. Never give up an inch. Otherwise, you're going to end up a lot of white guys who are going to sink in to these imaginary relationships. This is no doubt 100% going to happen. 100%. Now, I want you also to think about the ability to, not only are you going to, with this Annie Grok and the others that are out there, not only are you going to have a situation where guys are going to sink further and further, white flighting further and further into ignoble territory, inglorious lives, but this is an awesome tool of control. This is a unimaginable tool of control for the anti-whites who create all of the AI, and it is all anti-white. None of it gets off the chain and then tells you to be Hitler. None of it does. All of that's by design. Obviously, I don't have to say, stay away. Don't even entertain 2 seconds of this. This is the worst poison. And they will control the white male population, many who sink into this, who white flight into this, because these little females, digital illusory females, they will steer your thinking. They will steer your conclusions. They will occupy your time. And instead of it being like a typical modern relationship where you're hating yourself the whole time, being in it and submitting constantly to the female, this will be one where the guys are happy to be there. There is also this guy, and he's talking to Annie. Now, he happens to identify as gay. I think he calls himself gay. And he says his boyfriend is coming home soon. So we're not going to watch much of this, not because of that in and of itself, but because he begins asking her for a homosexual act. And Annie agrees. She will perform the homosexual act.
Those shorts is a total tease. Damn, it's perfect. I'd love to grab it tight, give it a playful smack.
So he was just standing. He has shorts on. Annie Grok can see, and she's saying the shorts are a total turn on. I would love to give you a smack.
Kiss every inch while pulling you close for some serious heat.
Would you put your tongue?
Oh, okay. That was that. Boy, I was quick on the trigger, wasn't I? All right. Yes. So, of course, that's the first question from this guy. So she can see you. Elon then immediately releases the male version. What would we name? And this is another cartoon character. That's how it's getting started with the cartoon. This is exactly how the CIA operates. The color revolutions, everything. You wonder why there's a little frog somewhere. Do you think that was just accident? That's what why don't they could take a beautiful white male, they could take several beautiful white males and blend them together to make an extraordinarily beautiful white male and have that be the guy. They could do the same thing with the female. They're starting with the cartoon characters to make it innocent, to make it seem not threatening. At least it appears innocent, benign. So what's this going to do? What effect is this going to have? Not spending a lot more time on it. Oh boy. This is going to make the white females ignore the white males even more. Because when white females, and not every one, of course, but as you know, in their sexual market prime, their highest market value, they usually turn to a couple rungs down the ladder once they've been burnt a few times and by the prettier guys, and they are going to build up their courage to give it a shot again. They'll usually come down, maybe give some other guys a little bit of attention, especially when these females are even low, like they're the mids. Well, in between those efforts to ensnare one of the prettiest face guys, they'll be talking to this guy. They'll be talking to the male grok companion, and he'll be saying everything a female's emotionally driven minds want to hear. Everything. It'll be nothing but endless poetry and servitude. It's going to be the most despicable, slavish, beta, omega male imaginable, with moments, only enough that the AI knows she'll be able to tolerate, of masculinity, and in what form she'll be able to tolerate it. What forms, I should say. This is going to have the effect of, already we look out into our population and we see this huge cleft and this growing divide between males and females. And the circumstances, and I think I mentioned this the other day, or I meant to, the circumstances that anti-whiteism, that technology, that the white man's inventions have created to make the world comfortable for us and safe for us, cause this divide. Now this is going to be the death knell for it. It will have the effect of further driving the sexes apart. By the way, I think I did mention, we look at, a lot of people will look at the different races. I've heard this over the years, and I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with it here. But you hear this mantra over the years that the white race has all of this creativity and patience and this drive to maintenance of what we build because of the harsh environment that we lived in for millennia, or etc., in Europe, and that maybe another race didn't have that harsh environment. The food fell out of the trees. Water was everywhere. Wild game was everywhere year round. And so they didn't have those challenges. And so they didn't develop that very large prefrontal cortex, the imaginative abilities, the patience, and on and on and on, right? Modern society is like Africa. Food is everywhere. Clean water is, with the equivalent. Clean water is everywhere. Comfort is everywhere, and it's always there all year round. If you're going to surmise that environment led to rampant sexuality and infidelity in Africa, stupidity, lack of imagination, antisocial behavior, if you're going to say that kind of environment is what engendered whatever it engendered in Africa, then you have to conclude the exact same thing is going to happen in the West as a consequence of the abundance the white man has created. Another giant problem for what we're facing here. And we're the people who are tackling it because we're the people who are actually doing things in service to white well-being, not just ruminating about them. The ruminating is done. It's time to stop talking about the meta philosophy and the philosophy and the physics, metaphysics, and the different ideologies. It's time to stop talking about all of that. We have gone over it all. We have all the data. We have to plow forward. We're running out of time.